All right, every once in a while, a headline pops up that just makes you do a double take. And we've got a great one today. We're talking about the Tesla Cybertruck and live missile tests. Yep, you heard that right. Let's dive in.
And this isn't some rumor or clickbait. Nope, it's right there in the official documents. The U.S. Air Force wants to buy brand new Cybertrucks for one simple, kind of shocking reason: to blow them up.
So that's the big question, right? I mean, the military blows stuff up for target practice all the time. That's nothing new. But they almost never go looking for a specific brand name, especially one this famous. So what is it about the Cybertruck? Okay, so to get to the why, we first got to look at the what. The details in the actual acquisition plan. Well, they give us some major clues.
So here's the deal. They want 2 Cybertrucks. They're heading to the White Sands Missile Range out in New Mexico. But check this out. This is the really interesting part. The Air Force says they don't even care if the engine works. What they do care about is that the body, the glass, and the mirrors are all in one piece. And that right there, that's a huge hint.
And this is exactly what got a lot of people's attention, especially reporters who cover this stuff. You know, getting old cars for target practice is just another Tuesday for the military. But calling out a specific make and model, that's weird. It's just not how they do things. So you know it's not about brand loyalty or some kind of PR stunt. Something else is definitely up.
All right, so let's get to the justification. Why the Cybertruck specifically? Well, the official reason is probably not what you're guessing, and this is where it all starts to make a weird kind of sense.
You might think this is some kind of political jab or something, but it's not that at all. The Air Force's reasoning is actually super practical. It all comes down to physics. Seriously, it's about the way this truck is built.
And here it is, straight from the horse's mouth. This is from the actual document. The Air Force thinks that potential enemies might start using Cybertrucks specifically because, and I'm quoting here, they've been found not to receive the normal extent of damage expected upon major impact. Basically, that crazy stainless steel body that everyone talks about, it just doesn't crumple like a normal car.
So the logic is actually pretty straightforward when you lay it out. Step 1, figure out what your opponents might use. Step 2, realize this truck is way tougher than normal. And step 3, if they might use it, you absolutely have to practice blowing it up so you're ready for the real thing.
But here's where the story takes a really ironic twist. At the exact same time the military is saying, wow, this thing is tough, we need it, the consumer market, well, it seems to be saying the opposite.
It's this perfect example of how one person's problem is another person's solution, right? The very thing that makes the Cybertruck so interesting to the military, that tough, kind of bizarre design, that might be the exact same thing that's making it a tough sell for regular car buyers.
And if you look at the numbers, they really paint a picture. Only about 4,300 Cybertrucks were sold in the second quarter of this year. I mean, for a truck with this much hype and attention, that number is, well, it's pretty low. And it's a huge change from just a few months before.
When you see it on a chart, it's even more dramatic. We're talking about a 51% drop from the first quarter to the second. That's a massive dip, no matter how you slice it.
And zooming out, it doesn't look like this is just a one-time thing. They sold around 39,000 last year, but at the pace they're on now, it's looking pretty tough for them to hit that same number again this year.
Which brings us right back to the Air Force. See, they couldn't care less about sales numbers or what's trendy. They have a totally different question. How much of a punch can this thing take? It's a wild twist, right? The truck's problems in the showroom mean absolutely nothing when it comes to its value on the missile range.
Okay, so let's put this all in perspective for a second. Is this some super secret mission focused only on the Cybertruck? Well, not quite. Turns out these 2 Cybertrucks aren't going to be lonely. They're part of a bigger shopping trip. The Air Force is also buying 31 other vehicles. We're talking regular sedans, SUVs, pickups, even something called bongo trucks. And all of them are scheduled for a rather explosive retirement.
So, yeah, blowing up cars and trucks, that's just business as usual when you're testing missiles. It's all about being prepared. The real story here isn't that they're blowing stuff up. It's why they singled out this one, very unique, very famous truck.
And that kind of leaves us with a really interesting question to chew on, doesn't it? The Cybertruck might be having a tough time in the consumer world, but it's an absolute superstar from military researchers. It really makes you think,
What defines a product's real value? Is it just sales numbers, or is it about the unique and sometimes totally unexpected problems it's capable of solving?